Hey, good morning, guys, and happy Friday to you. Welcome to STN Stock Talk with Ricky and myself. Ready for a great day, first day of the month. So, looking forward to a good start of the month and a nice finish to the end of the week. So, hopefully, you guys had a good week. Appreciate you all being here. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying. You guys that are new members that have come over to stocktraders.net, feel free to ask us any questions. We look forward to getting the PMs from you guys. And asking us about things that we're either talking about or just intraday. We have a really good free trading room over there, good community, a lot of active traders. So don't be shy to introduce yourself and just be part of it and contribute. With that all being said, just a reminder that anything we're talking about today is no type of solicitation. Ricky and I just go through some symbols, a couple things on our watch list. I have a couple this morning, going to wind up the week with a bang, I think, and ready to get cooking here. So read the disclaimer below. I'm going to turn it over to Ricky and look forward to hear what he has to say this morning.
Thanks a lot, Goose. Welcome to Stock Talk, guys. Looking forward to a great month. I'm going to keep it really short and succinct today. Today is the final day I live where I currently live. We are moving across the country, hopping in a vehicle tomorrow, making the cross-country trip. So things are a bit chaotic in my house, but that's not going to stop me from getting the Stock Talk done and also maybe catching a few trades. So the first thing I'm looking at, guys, is VKTX. And if you'll remember, I covered this yesterday and I was definitely short biased. I'm not afraid to admit that the call was wrong, but risk management kept me from getting injured too bad. I did take a nick on it. But in hindsight, going back and looking at some of the underlying things that caused the read to be slightly off, the one thing I didn't really notice was I did notice the float, but float only is calculating shareholders that own 5% or more. And when you have a 50 million OS, you can still own quite a bit of the company and not be on the radar for the 5% or larger criteria. And so when I went back and looked, there's actually 32 million shares held by institutions. Some of them are smaller positions, but there's quite a few guys that are holding a million or more shares of this. And so that really puts the tradable float closer to 20 million, which shows you guys why this thing is so much easier to manipulate or prop or do whatever, or to create this move up. And I actually feel like yesterday's price action right at the open, when we were talking about the tape being really heavy, it was nothing but, let's just look at this real quick. It was 15 minutes of nothing but selling. And I stopped out right where I was trying to. I caught a little bit of slippage because the move happened so quick, but it is what it is. I mean, if I didn't stop out where I did, you can see this thing went another almost $3 from where I stopped out, guys. So the risk management is what we're always trying to hammer home here and make sure people are able to know how to stay safe on these. Now that we're on day 2 on this and knowing that the institutions really are a lot heavier in this than we first knew, I'm actually looking for this to do another week open. I would love this thing to fade hard before it opens or right after open and look weak. I would love a wash down to 10, and then I would love to see this thing hold that psych level, which was also prior to day's close, which is also going to give everybody in the room that has been following us for a while, they know this play we play is called a gap to close. So we're opening high enough that when you gap this high and we come back all the way to the previous day's close, there's a high probability of this thing reversing. And I feel like if we hold 10, I feel like it's going to trap a lot more shorts than are already in this. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of stubborn ones that held this thing or maybe shorted yesterday close to close around 10, thinking maybe 10's the top. Maybe got a little comfortable after hours when they saw it start to wash, and then sure enough, wake up this morning and we're boom, right up to 11. So if you shorted at 10, guys, you're already down 10% on this thing. And if we do catch this thing to fade to 10 and it holds and we get a long setup, your first target is clear as day. It's those pre-market highs, which is a good, easy, quick dollar. And I honestly think it could rip. If it gets through those pre-market highs, this thing could do exactly what it did yesterday and just rip further. So this thing's actually on a long watch today, and I will be very interested on any weakness on this at the open. The next thing I'm looking at, guys, is CLWT, and I've covered it before. It's a turd, but it's not the typical turd, guys. They're cash flow positive, and I think I've mentioned this every time I've covered them, okay? They're not going to be like the kind of company that we're playing this because we know they are in dire need of cash or whatever. In fact, the news this morning is that they're offering a 70-cent per share dividend. It's kind of junk news, especially considering it's, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's for stockholders as of the record date June 15th. So like, it's not even today that matters. And we are way higher than 70 cents up from where it closed yesterday. And if you look at the daily chart, you see that this thing loves to have huge range and then give it all back. But, you know, if you look at the daily chart, there's a few things that concern me and would keep me cautious on this, guys. Yes, we had a huge fade. Yes, we retraced, but we didn't retrace back to where it came from, right? And each time this thing makes a giant move and it retraces, what's it catch? Catches the 20-day. And it did it this time again, and now we're popping again. Now, what I'm looking for, guys, is whether or not we're going to take out this high at call it 640. I believe it's a 5-cent ticker, right? So I'm sure it's 640. So if it takes out that high, I'm not touching it till it extends and gets silly. If it rejects up around there, or maybe can't, if it struggles with 6 and wants to show a setup, there is the possibility of maybe taking it around there. But keep in mind, guys, the float's under $1 million. And the 70 cents a share dividend, it's pretty stupid considering there's one shareholder that owns like over 1 million shares. I mean, is that guy getting paid some of that money? So basically they're giving money back to themselves. But really, it's not like they're spending that much. 70 cents a share for 2 million share float, you're looking at spending $1.4 million. They have that kind of cash. It's okay. It's not going to kill them. But the news is fluff. The thing moves on air. It's a 5-cent ticker. So just make sure you stay safe, guys. That's everything from me. I'm going to throw back to Goose, and then we're going to get the day cracking.
Sounds great, man. Good job as always. And you're always spot on with these things. And like I told you before, I mean, your research is incredible. So, you know, not everything's always perfect, but I'll take somebody, you know, that digs into these things and saves all of us a ton of work. So great job as always, man. And listen, let's keep it up. So anyway, I'm going to jump right into a couple names here. I want to start off with GLNG. I'm sure this ticker is not on many radars, but as you can see, it kind of had a heavy day yesterday. A few price target cuts and things like that on off earnings. But there's something I noticed when I was going through the gappers, the up and downs yesterday, is this had pulled right into this daily support area, also the 200-day. So I was like, yeah, that looks pretty fishy to me. This is one of these type of names that when I see that, I look for a possible bounce play. With the market being up, everything's lining up for me on this for a possible bounce. What I'm hoping is it stays heavy. You can see it kind of was heavy all day yesterday. So I'm hoping it stays heavy right at, if I think it's going to open up a little bit, come down back into this 25 so I could use yesterday's lows. You can see it's still a nice little support area up in here from prior. So if it could hold that, I'm going to look for a turn in this thing to get long for a potential bounce. The other side of it is if it wants to clear up in this 2650 area, which it kind of was trading at a little bit, small trades in 2630, 26, 2630. What I'm looking for is a little turn in that and just to continue to push. And I'd be looking for, 28 to 29 is going to be my target on this. But I feel like there's a really good shot at a potential bounce play on this with the market going our way, as well as some of the daily action. So this is pretty high on my priority list for a bounce. I'm going to switch over to COST, Costco. Hang on a second. So this is my thoughts on Costco. It's kind of already happened a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And there's two things that I'm looking at Costco. Is first of all, numbers were good and everything with Costco, but I'm looking at the daily here. What do I have down here? The 50-day SMA 92 to 193 area. So I'm hoping, and these have been working where they've come in a little bit more than we think. I was talking about that in the pre-market. So I'm hoping for a nice little pull is one setup. We're a nice wash imbalance, whatever you want to call it, 192, 193 to scoop some stock down there. And then the other part is you can see pre-market, this action here is already moving through that 195. And I wanted to actually take some of this pre-market, but I'm going to hold off just because he's been, coming a little bit more lately. So I want to get, be patient on my entry. If I miss it, I miss it. But there's something in me that thinks that this might actually push right away up into that prior close area. I'll entertain a G2C play, but I think the numbers are pretty good. I'm a little surprised it's under the pressure that it is. But I do like the long on Costco today, COST. So I'll be looking at that. There's a lot of symbols on watch this morning. but I'm not going to rattle all of them off. I just want to say one thing is, I talked about in the pre-market, I'll talk to you guys that are listening in the trading floor now that maybe didn't hear the pre-market stuff, is just remember, guys, sometimes less is more. And, you don't always have to be on, every single trade. It's okay to sit on your on $500 or $400 or $5,000, depending on whatever size you have. Wait for the perfect setup. If you're not really willing to size into something, maybe it's not even a good trade. Because when you're taking a trade, you should really have conviction. We're playing with real money here. We're not taking shots or anything like that. So think about that going into the new month. Maybe cut back how many trades you're doing and just hit hard on the ones that you love. So with that all being said, I'm going to turn it back to Ricky. You guys have a great day and a great weekend. And I'll be around on chat later if anybody has any questions. Thanks, guys.
Very well said, Goose. I couldn't put it better myself, guys. It's all about protecting that capital. Make sure you guys have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a trade. Stay safe out there. Let's go out and crush it. Peace.